Hi Cancer, welcome. I'm Joy and this is Taurus Tarot, and we are getting an energy read for you Cancer, yeah? So we're just trying to see what the energies are for you, okay? So, just know that it is whenever you find it, yeah? And we're not all on the same schedule, okay? We don't always experience the same energies at the same time, but nonetheless, when there are different energies that do come down for us, right? And I say for us because, like, really, everything is in our benefit. Everything from the universe is for our benefit, and while it may feel really difficult in the moment, going through something challenging, it's really important to understand that, yeah, definitely, you have to process all of those emotions that come along with those challenges, with those difficult things you may be experiencing, but that there's always a light at the end of the tunnel. It doesn't always happen when you want it to happen, but it's there. The universe is always looking out for you. Okay, so as I was, before I, start letting the cards fall, I'll do a pre-shuffle, and I'll ask Spirit just to bring in the messages that is important for you to hear. And so some of the things that were really coming to was actually kind of like these feelings of I don't know, like feeling sorry for yourself a little bit. Like maybe you have been experiencing something difficult. I was getting betrayal and backstabbing, and wow, those are some definitely heavy things to go through. At the same time, if you become aware of some betrayals or backstabbings that might be happening, you know it's really better. It's coming out, right? It's coming out into the open, it's out front, and then you can deal with it at that point. But when it's hidden and it's just happening behind the scenes, that is, maybe you might be in a happier state not knowing about it, right? Ignorance is bliss. But when it comes up, it's and out in the open, it's time for it, right? And maybe because either some things need to happen, and that is just a catalyst for those things to be able to come together and happen for you. Who knows what it is, but it's important to really understand it and see it as always being in our benefit, even when it is extremely difficult. And I do feel like there has been some extremely difficult things that you may have been challenged with, and I'm not quite sure exactly what it is, but and it could be all kinds of different things, right, for different people, depending where you are on your own personal journey. However, these cards that have fallen out, they're actually very promising. So we have the Queen of Wands, Seven of Wands, King of Cups, and the Six of Wands. So lots of wand energy here. So definitely talking, definitely has a lot to do with like movement and these energizing sort of feelings and movement. The Queen of Wands, however, is also very nurturing, and I feel like that's really important here. She's someone who is actually, very self-aware, very nurturing, very, what's the word that's not, I was, adequate was coming, adept was coming, but it's not that. She's very capable, she's very capable, okay? And I'm feeling like that's something that is important for you to hear right now, that you are very capable. You are very capable. So whatever it is you may have been challenged with in the past, it's important to know now that that you know, you're capable, you're completely capable of dealing with anything that comes your way, okay? And not just dealing with it, but dealing with it in a way that is really like shows your mastery, like that shows that you have some real knowledge and experience under your belt, right? And like really handling difficult situations with love and nurturance for yourself and possibly for others who are also involved in it. Okay. And I think it is coming up still as, actually this is one of the cards that fell out during the pre-shuffle too. So I always find it interesting when it falls out in the pre-shuffle and then again in, you know, in the actual shuffle, right? So I think that this is something, while it's not a major arcana card, right, it is still something I feel is significant for you. And so this is really coming through as a need to defend yourself. And perhaps the challenging thing that you went through was not really putting you in that Queen of Wands energy, but it is, you are definitely harnessing that now. Yeah, definitely harnessing that Queen of Wands energy now. And I also always find it interesting to, you know, sometimes it's not significant the way the cards fall, but I'm feeling that this is very significant. So we have here, you know, this feeling, this energy of feeling the need to defend yourself, feeling the need to defend, you know, your methods, or defend your logic, or defend your belongings, whatever it may be. And it is between both the Queen of Wands and the King of Cups. And so that really is coming in as almost like I'm feeling that like you're justified in this energy here. You are justified in this. And what, and so I feel like this whatever this is, I feel like it's being surrounded by this very mature, loving energy. I feel like this situation is being surrounded by that, because, you know, we have the King of Cups here, right? And the King of Cups is, you know, he's very well aware of his emotions, and he knows how to keep his emotions in check, and not to the point where he is not showing them, or expressing them at all, or keeping them buried inside, but he maybe more so knows how to transmute negative energies. And so while he may still feel, right, someone like the King of Cups who has mastered their emotions, you know, it's, you know, anger and feelings of betrayal and feelings of having to defend yourself, those things are still going to come up. Even for a King of Cups, it's still going to come up. But the King of Cups is really able to transmute that energy and understand that, you know, that getting angry about something is not going to serve his greater good. And so instead, it's important to acknowledge those feelings, acknowledge the feeling of anger, and then use that energy that is behind that anger to work towards something else that will be beneficial for him or her, right? So that's kind of what that is. So having you know, the two here surrounding you, in whatever this situation is where you feel like you need to defend yourself, I just keep hearing justified. You're justified in that feeling, and you're being watched over and protected, and you are feeling like you're handling it in the right way that you need to be handling it, that you're maintaining these energies even in the light of this, you know, slightly chaotic energy that's happening here. Okay. And you know, there you go. You're victorious with it. This is, I just heard the right strategy. So, you know, whatever, however you are addressing this, um, I'm feeling like you're using the right strategy, and maybe, you know, you're doing it in the right way, and maybe you just needed that affirmation. I'm not sure. Um, yeah, because, you know, sometimes doing the right thing, being the bigger person, stepping outside of your ego and allowing yourself to be vulnerable, um, those things can be really hard to do, right? Even though we know that, you know, intellectually we know that they're the right things to do, you know, being able to move an intellectual understanding of something into actual reality is not always the easiest thing, right? A lot of times it's in retrospect that we're like, oh, I should have did it that way. Like, I know better, you know, but why did I do it this way? It's because we, you know, we can have a tendency to get caught up in our emotions and allow our emotions to rule us. But the King of Cups is like really saying that, you know, you didn't do that. You did not allow your emotions to rule you and rule the situation. You remained calm and cool and collected, you know, and that's awesome. And that you approached it with, you know, some definite like self-assurance and confidence, and but also nurturing. You approach the situation with some nurturing, and I'm hearing for the other person, really. Yeah. Whereas you could have, you know, been justified in in you know, being very upset about this particular situation, but instead you handled it like very maturely. You handled it with love, and like, you know, like some real groundedness and maturity. So, you know, it's no wonder you're victorious. Okay. Awesome. Awesome, awesome, Cancer. Thank you. Because, you know, this is really important. I mean, moving forward in this world, um, especially with all of the chaos that we are experiencing, not in just one country, but really across multiple countries, right? Perhaps even the entire world. Um, you know, it's really important that we are able to find ways to move past challenging situations in a way that is very based in love um and maturity, that, you know, in a way that is like, you know, you're removing the ego from it, right? It's not ego based. Yeah. Whereas, you know, I'm sure there's many of us in America who can really think of, and I don't want to mention names, right? But like some people who are in, you know, very present in media and whatnot, very present in our lives, who is clearly very ego based and very concerned about how particular situations make them look, and then when that becomes the priority, the real issue where you can make real difference and real progress is being completely overlooked, because the ego is so concerned with keeping up an image or an idea of the self, of the ego self. Yeah. And if you are in America, you know that that's not working for us. Okay. So so thank you, because it feels like, you know, you are approaching your challenges um in a very mature and loving and honest and open and vulnerable way, that allows for real change and real progress. And that is nothing to take lightly. Okay? Awesome, Cancer. Well, that is what it is. If you like this video, you know, give it a thumbs up. If you want to see more videos, subscribe. And yeah, aloha and namaste.